As expected, the 3-episode Season 2 finale of Paradise eventually returned us to the Colorado bunker. There was a lot to think about when we ended the first season. Where it might go from there is the question. We get an idea of our direction in Another Day in Paradise, the 3rd episode of Season 2 of Paradise. The complete truth. Sinatra, Julianne Nicholson, is in the hospital in a coma as we start. At the end of the season, Jane, Nicole Britton Bloom, shot her. She's also getting images of what inspired her to work on the project while she's lying in the hospital bed. To do that, she must return to Jeffrey Arendt, the scientist whose theories inspired her to work on a solution. We didn't hear the entire tale as it turns out. In a bar, he lays out what will happen. Temperatures will plummet when the volcano erupts and the ash covers the sky. Not everybody will perish. And things will get better in a few years. The surviving will start living their regular lives again. That aligns with the events from Graceland that Annie, Shailene Woodley, experienced in the pilot. That won't be the end, he assures Sinatra. The Earth will be permanently altered by the apocalyptic event that follows. Those who made it through the first section will wish they hadn't. Although it paints a grim picture, it also provides some insight into Sinatra's motivations and the event's concealment. Bunker life. Meanwhile, we catch up on the rest of life in the bunker. Jane seems to give Xavier, Sterling K. Brown, and Nicole, Chris Marshall, a version of what transpired with Sinatra in a flashback to the night he left. Although it appears awful, Jane is a skilled salesperson. Xavier volunteers to take the fall because he already intends to depart. Following this, Nicole is demoted and takes on the role of caregiver for Xavier's children. Jane, meanwhile, receives a promotion and is hailed as a hero, the individual who preserved the secrets. Xavier and Robinson are in a race to identify President Bradford's killer before it's too late in Paradise. The man who kept the secrets. Brian Rodel/Disney, Brown, Stanley K., and Aaliyah Maston. President Henry Baines, played by Matt Malloy, is in charge of the bunker where we currently reside, and he hasn't wasted any time in attempting to restore order. Those who cross the line will face a severe, zero-tolerance policy. That is not good for Charlie Evans' character, Jeremy. His dedication to creating a better world is fueled by his father's last words. That leaves him as the resistance's leader and something of an outlaw. Presley, Aaliyah Maston, is following the rules, yet she continues to communicate with Jeremy. To pass notes, they employ a dead drop in a small library. James, Percy Daggs IV, is not happy. His father and mother have already passed away, and he fears losing his sister as well. In the bunker, morale isn't too high. President Baines believes that people are missing seasons, therefore he has a plan to alter that. By increasing the temperature, he hopes to give them a taste of summer. He is informed that the amount of power required for Sinatra's project is insufficient. She is brought in for interrogation by Baines. She claims not to have her complete recall after emerging from the coma. She also passes a polygraph test and says she was unaware of a specific initiative. She appears happy to spend time with her family at home, but is that really the case? The puppeteer. Sinatra's encounter with Billy Price, John Beavers, is the subject of another flashback that we see. He seeks her assistance in resolving an issue. The man in charge, Patrick Fischler, won't provide her the technology she needs for her project. Billy is so instructed to use all available efforts to pry it free. When Billy arrives with a gun in hand, the man is surprisingly kind. He merely begs for his protégé's safety. Link, Thomas Doherty, is soon revealed to be said protégé, which explains his familiarity with the Colorado bunker and his subsequent fascination with it. The individual who preserved the secrets. Xavier and Robinson are in a race to identify President Bradford's killer before it's too late in Paradise. The man who kept the secrets. Brian Rodel/Disney, Britton Bloom, Nicole. After they have concluded their business, Sinatra asks Billy what would happen if she ever needed him again. He claims that all she has to do is remark that the person wants a breath mint and provide him with his name and image. There were other murderers who collaborated with Sinatra both prior to and during Billy's stay in the bunker. Nicole has doubts about Jane. The only words that appear to be visible in her largely blacked file are CIA. That's cause for concern. She notices numerous statements that don't align with reality when she reads the report on Billy's passing. She concludes that Jane may be concealing something as a result. She looks for Jane, but she discovers it's too late. Jane and President Baines are working one-on-one on protection. However, she continues to work for Sinatra, who is actually in charge of everything despite appearances. Jane gives in to Sinatra's suggestion that the president needs a breath mint. Another president has passed away. Jane employs a dubious Nicole as a fall woman this time. Views on Episode 3 of Season 2 of Paradise. The third episode of Season 2 of Paradise had a deeper in-depth analysis that began to offer additional context hints. I enjoy the debut block as a whole, even though we spent 3 episodes with 3 distinct groups. We see where Xavier is on his quest, we get a taste of life in the real world, and we know where the bunker is headed. I'm eager to see what happens next. Episode 4 of Paradise Season 2 will take some time to air. Hulu releases the new episodes every Monday. Keep checking back for more Paradise Season 2 news and recaps.